So today, we're going to discuss Speak. Yes, there was a movie based off this book that stars a pre-Twilight fame Kirsten Stewart. Please refrain from bitching about Kirsten Stewart from now until forever, really. I'll explain why in a bit. Speak is a young adult novel by Laurie Halse Anderson. The story is told from the point of view of high school freshman Melinda Sordino. Melinda has been ostracized since the end of summer because she busted a party. Yeah. Her friends are not talking to her anymore and go their separate ways and join new cliques. Since the said event that I just said, she's been mute about it all. Why? Well, Melinda was raped at the party, and that's why she called the cops in the first place. She didn't want to ruin anyone's fun. She just did what she thought was right, but high schoolers are the worst. But no one knows this. Not even her parents know. This book is written from her point of view, and it's pretty sarcastic. I mean, it's not like... It's sarcastically witty, if that makes any sense. And it's, of course, when talking about said subject matter, intense. And very often, when she is near her attacker, she refers to him as it in the book. And, by the way, his name is Andy Evans, and he's a senior. Reading these passages are quite terrifying, and very reminiscent of someone going through post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, she's not talking to anyone, she doesn't know how to deal with it, and at one point she even questions if she was actually raped. Yeah. The book follows her throughout the school year via marking periods, as she puts it, so whatever. There are 4 of them. And at each of the marking period, other than the 4th one, for my knowledge, she writes down the grades she gets in each class. And clearly they're slipping, and this is a great way to let the reader know that she has been greatly affected by this, but even that's an understatement in itself. However, by the end of the book, she gets attacked by her rapist again, but this time he was caught in the act, and she finally speaks up about it. Yeah. The book was a huge success and has won numerous awards, including the Prince Award. And much like every classic book, it has been challenged. Yeah, always gets on the ALA's challenged books of the decade or year or whatever. It's always in there. Missouri School specifically challenged the book because, and I quote, soft-core pornography and glorification of drinking, cursing, and premarital sex. Yeah. Can you see what? Yeah, we'll get back to that whole why they shouldn't challenge or ban books in the first place, especially this book in particular, later on in the review. So yeah, there was a movie made about this, or based off of this, starring Kirsten Stewart before she was in Twilight. And it was directed by a woman named Jessica Sharzer, and it premiered in Sundance in 2004. The following year, the movie was shown on Showtime and Lifetime. Yes, that Lifetime. The screenplay was also written by a woman, Annie Young Frisbee, who read the book and won the bidding war to get the rights to make the movie. Honestly, it does show that Frisbee did read the book and knew the source material well. However, like many adaptations based off books, there are changes. It's inevitable. When Melinda meets Heather, the new girl who talks to her and really doesn't know why everyone in high school hates Melinda, hates her guts, makes fun of her anyways. She meets her in the auditorium in the book, but in the movie they have them meet on the bus. Yes, for you SVU fans, that is Stabler's daughter. Man, if only she knew what she'll be like in a few years.
Kathleen!
Daddy! It's so cool you're here! Come on, you gotta come try it! If you tilt your head back, it looks like you're floating in outer space like an astronaut above some freaky planet. Come on!
I don't think so, honey.
Hey, Olivia! You wanna come play?
That's probably not the best idea, sweetie. Come on.
Let's go.
But I don't wanna go. I'm having so much fun. I don't wanna go.
Okay. She's okay now, but SVU's not. It really hasn't been for a while since Stabler left. It needs more Stabler. He went to True Blood. So, when Melinda's parents confront her about her grade slipping, they tell her to get some extra credit in the movie, and in the book too, I believe. The movie has her approach her history teacher, Mr. Neck, to do an extra credit assignment. In the book, however, in the book, everyone had to do an extra credit assignment. But honestly, this change was good, considering her teacher, Mr. Neck, is,
My family has been in this country for over 200 years. We built this place. We fought in every war, from the first one to the last one. Paid our taxes and voted. So tell me why my son can't get a job.
Yeah, he's one of those people. God, I can't imagine how he'd react to the situation going on right now. So in the movie, she does her extra credit, which is an oral report by not speaking. Her report is on the suffragists. And sadly, this has her end up in the principal's office. The film follows the book's non-linear storyline, but when it comes to the actual rape scene, the location changes. In the book, her rape takes place in the woods, and this works in with the whole tree motif that is prevalent throughout the book, especially since her art assignment for the whole year has to involve trees. In the film, the rape scene takes place in Andy's car. This was due to Kirsten Stewart discovering she had an allergy to the grass where they were originally going to shoot the scene. And in fact, if you notice the scene where she walks back home, she has leaves. Well, this is because they shot the walking back home scene first before she found out she had the allergy and before the whole rape scene. You're probably thinking, well, they could have redone that scene. Guys, okay, this is an independent film. They're on a tight budget. So they have to do what they can and what their sources allow them to. Give them a break. Other modifications made to the film include Rachel breaking up with Andy before the prom, and actually the prom scene was cut altogether in the film. And in the book, she actually breaks up with Andy at prom. It was more mentioned because Melinda wasn't there. And there was another scene that was cut where it involved Andy confronting Melinda in the school parking lot. And while we do see Melinda writing about Andy in the bathroom stall in the film, they don't at the part where she goes back to the stall and see more people contributing to her comment. This would have been, well, interesting to see as... Yeah, remember that thing I mentioned earlier? How schools challenged this book because, oh my god, softcore pornography? Softcore pornography. What? And in the book, the other comments written about him confirm that Melinda is not the first girl he's harmed in any way, shape, or form. The comments, let me read them from the book, which you all should check out and read. Page 195, if you have a book near you, I highly recommend it. It's actually, it'll start from 184. Chat room. I'm standing in the lobby, looking at the buses. I don't want to go home. I don't want to stay here. I got my hopes up halfway through the conversation with Rachel. That was my mistake. It was like smelling the perfect Christmas feast and having the door slammed in your face, leaving you alone in the cold. Melinda, I hear my name. Great, now I'm hearing things. Maybe I should ask the guidance counselor for a therapist or a nosy shrink. I don't say anything and I feel awful. I tell somebody I feel worse. I'm having trouble finding a middle ground. Someone touches my arm gently. Melinda? It's Ivy. Can you take the late bus? I want to show you something. We walk together. She leads me to the bathroom, the one where she washed my shirt, which, by the way, still has traces of her markers, even after the bleach. She points to the stall. Take a look. Guys to stay away from. Andy Evans. He's a creep. He's a bastard. Stay away. He should be locked up. He thinks he's all that. Call the cops. What's the name of that drug they give perverts so they can't get it up? Dipro something. He should get it every morning in his orange juice. I went out with him to the movies. He tried to get his hands down my pants during the previews. There's more. Different pens, different handwriting, conversations between some writers, arrows to longer paragraphs is better than taking out a billboard. I feel like I can fly. Yeah, so that's the book for you. You guys should check it out. And since writing Speak, Laurie Halse Anderson has done book tours about Speak, especially in middle schools, high schools, and raising awareness on sexual assault. Last year, with the whole Steubenville debacle going on, which, you guys should look up if you don't know, but I hope you do know about it. Anyways, she was asked about how this problem of sexual assault is still going on, or rather how people seem not to really acknowledge it, along with victim blaming and all that fun stuff. She was quoted saying, "I was shocked when I realized how ignorant boys are about this. It became clear in 2002, after 5 years of pretty heavy school visits and people putting the book into the curriculum. In every single demographic, country, city, suburban, various economic classes, ethnic backgrounds. I'd go into a class and talk about the book, and usually by the end, a junior boy would say, 'I love the book, but I really didn't get why she was so upset.' I heard that so many times. The first couple dozen times, I sort of freaked. And then I got down from my judgmental podium and started to ask questions. It became clear that teen boys don't understand what rape is." So, let me get this straight. This book was written in, let's check the copyright. First edition written in 1999. So, copyright 1999. Laurie Halse Anderson, Speak. Published by Penguin Books, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's Penguin Books. So, this book was written in 1999. And in that quote, she was talking about 2002. It is now the year 2014. Anderson has said that before she wrote Speak, rape wasn't really spoken out loud. And yes, that's sort of changed, but here we are in 2014, and we still get boys, maybe other people, not just boys, who go up to her and be like, "I don't get why Melinda was so upset." What? You know, people usually refer this to rape culture, and fuck. Even approaching this topic is tricky, because there are people out there who say there is no rape culture. So then what do you call this, I guess, phenomenon where people deny that rape is something that happens to people. Or when people in school districts and libraries want to ban this book because it's softcore pornography. Anderson has also spoken against censorship, and for good reason. There are people who still ask why Melinda was so upset. Let's see, well, she was 14 years old. She probably wasn't told by her parents, or maybe any other grown-ups at the time, what to do in a situation like that. What to do if you get raped, or if a friend tells you they've been raped, and there's the whole boys will be boys and girls will be girls that is still embedded into our minds, thinking, it's just a joke, boys will be boys, girls will be girls, they'll always be mean, boys will always be perverts. And this was probably her first time having a sexual encounter, and she was not able to give consent. This book takes place in Ohio. Yeah, you know where Steubenville is? And the age of consent in Ohio is 16. Andy, her rapist, was probably 17, maybe 18. He could be charged as a sex offender. No. He could. He can. And yet people still ask this woman why this character was upset. I feel like I'm going in circles here. I hate sounding this mad, but there's really no other reaction to people who ask the author of this book that question, and yet people still want this book banned because, oh my god, it's softcore pornography instead of, educating the youth of America about consent and rape, and, oh god, why are we filled with stupid people? Especially in this country. I don't know if this is banned in other countries, and I wouldn't be surprised, because it's not just in America, but God. So you're telling me you don't want to educate your child. This is probably a middle school kid can read it. It's an easy read. Anyone can. Maybe an intellectual 5-year-old would understand it. Okay, maybe that's going, but you get my point. You don't want to educate your child about rape. You don't want to educate them about consent because, oh my god, it involves sex. Doesn't matter if it's consensual or not. I don't want them learning about softcore pornography. Also, porn can be found on the internet. I'm pretty sure they've already seen things. So here you are, telling libraries to not have this book made available to people when it's a valuable source on what to do, what not to do, what people who have experienced a trauma like this go through on a daily basis, and even worse, they haven't told anyone about it, not even their own parents, who should be the first people they go to along with authority figures. She couldn't even tell the authority figure on the phone that, hey, I was raped. I know there's a party going on, but hey, you know what's more scary? There's a rapist loose. I need a minute. I went off on a tangent there, but I think you all get the point. I hope. I really hope you guys get the point, because I'm sorry, I should start talking about the film. The movie was written by 2 women. The director also contributed, and directed by a woman. Was even shown on the Lifetime channel. And we all know the reputation Lifetime has. But it's a good movie and a good adaptation. And yes, Kirsten Stewart does a great job as Melinda here. She was 13 when she did this film, and she portrayed her well, yes. They had to have her talk a little more, whereas in the book she was pretty much a mute. She didn't really say much. And personally, I like Stewart's acting. Yeah, I'm about to hear the booze right now. Yeah, shut up. I know most of you have only seen her in Twilight, and she's only really bad in it in the first place because the original source material isn't great to begin with. It seems like other movies just want her to do the same thing she does with Bella Swan in Twilight, which don't. She has more potential. Maybe I'll talk about her good films, because they are good. As for the critical reception, the New York Times said the side characters are more like caricatures. I think the movie loses the subtleness of the book. Well, listen, New York Times, I happen to disagree because this is done by Melinda's point of view. And I do feel... I happen to disagree with you, New York Times, right there. I do feel like Melinda's a sarcastic person, and it's done from her point of view, and by doing that, she tends to make witty comments about her teachers. Oh yeah, Steve Zahn is also in this as her art teacher, and does a great job too, although I think it's kind of weird they casted him. I'm just thinking of that shitty Matthew McConaughey movie. Whatever happened to Steve Zahn? Is he still working? Anyways, I recommend both the movie and the book. But, as usual, I'm the kind who encourages people to read the book first, and then watch the movie to see what you think. So, yeah, this is only the second episode of this segment. And I like both adaptations. I like the Holes adaptation, I like the Speak adaptation. So it's only logical I need to find a really bad adaptation. And before I get suggestions, no, I am not going to go into the Harry Potter series. Yes, I love the books, the movies are okay, even though they strayed from the books. And it's been said before, people rant about it all the time, you can easily go to the message boards. So yeah, I'm not touching on that because it's just too vast. So, in the meantime, I should probably go to the library and see what is a shitty adaptation. A book. I'll read a book and see if it makes a movie out of it. And we'll see if that movie adaptation of said book is a shitty adaptation. I'm sure there are. People always complain, but we'll see.